Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you have ever felt her absence louder than her presence, stay with me, because what I am about to say may disturb you. Some connections do not end, they go silent. Silence is where unfinished emotions hide. Before we go any further, subscribe to this channel and like this video, not because of me, but because what you are about to hear may change how you see your past and yourself. I am speaking to you not as an entertainer, but as a female psychologist who has watched men misread one painful truth. When a woman truly moves on, her energy leaves first, long before her messages stop, long before the relationship officially ends. And when she has not moved on, the signs are subtle, psychological, and easy to dismiss if you are not trained to see them. The first sign she never moved on is this: she still reacts emotionally to your growth, not with clarity, with contradiction. She may congratulate you while sounding tense. She may disappear when you improve, then reappear when you stumble. This is unresolved attachment. When a woman has fully moved on, your progress becomes neutral. It does not stir her nervous system. But when she has not let go, your evolution threatens the story she told herself to survive separation. Many women move forward behaviorally, while remaining emotionally anchored. She might date, she might smile, she might look fine from the outside, but emotionally, part of her identity is still negotiating your presence, measuring herself against the man you were and the man you are becoming. If she brings up old memories without reason, that is not nostalgia, that is emotional testing. She is checking whether the bond still exists, whether you still feel it, whether she still matters to you. She may not even be conscious of it. When a woman is done, she becomes indifferent, calm, uncurious. But when she has not moved on, her emotions leak through reactions, tone shifts, timing, silence that speaks. If this resonates, do not rush to conclusions. Awareness comes before action. Sit with this. Because if she never moved on, the power dynamic is not where you think it is. What you do next determines whether that connection heals or hardens forever. This knowledge is not about control, but clarity, self-respect, emotional maturity, patience, grounded choices ahead. The second sign she never moved on is far quieter and far more revealing. She keeps emotional access to you open while pretending she does not. This shows up as accidental check-ins, indirect questions through mutual friends, or sudden concern about your well-being that appears without context. This is not friendliness, this is attachment without permission. When a woman has truly let go, she closes emotional loops. She does not need updates. She does not need reassurance. She does not scan for signals. But when she has not moved on, her nervous system stays alert to you. She may tell herself she is just being polite, mature, or kind, but psychologically, she is maintaining a thread because cutting it would force grief she is not ready to face. Pay attention to timing. If she reaches out when she is emotionally vulnerable, stressed, lonely, or uncertain, that is not coincidence. You represent emotional familiarity, safety, a version of herself that existed when she felt more certain of who she was. That version is hard to bury. Another layer of this sign is how she reacts when you pull back. If you become distant and she mirrors calm acceptance, she may be done. But if your distance creates agitation, confusion, or sudden warmth, that is unresolved bonding. A woman who has moved on does not chase emotional access. She no longer values. This is where many men make a critical mistake. They interpret this behavior as invitation and rush forward emotionally. That collapses polarity. It removes mystery. It reassures her without requiring resolution, and it traps both of you in emotional limbo. If she never moved on, she is internally conflicted. Part of her wants closure. Another part wants possibility. She oscillates between detachment and closeness because she is regulating pain, not plotting strategy. Understanding this matters because mislabeling her behavior as manipulation leads to bitterness. Mislabeling it as love leads to loss of self-respect. The truth sits in the middle. This is emotional attachment without conscious direction, and it only resolves when one person becomes emotionally grounded enough to stop participating in the ambiguity. If you are calm, consistent, and self-contained, unresolved attachment surfaces. If you are reactive, chasing, or seeking reassurance, it stays hidden. This sign is not about what she says, It is about what she cannot stop monitoring. When a woman has not moved on, she watches quietly, she listens without responding, she remembers without admitting, and she feels more than she allows herself to name. The question is not whether she still feels something. The question is whether you are stable enough not to be pulled into the past while standing firmly in your present. The third sign she never moved on lives in comparison, not the obvious kind, but the psychological one. She compares everyone after you to a version of you that only exists in memory. And memory, when mixed with unresolved emotion, becomes distorted if she subtly criticizes new partners in ways that echo qualities you once had. That is not coincidence. If she praises traits you embodied while claiming she wants something different now, that is not growth, that is internal conflict. When a woman has truly moved on, new connections stand on their own. They are not measured against the past. They are evaluated in the present. This comparison often leaks through sarcasm, humor, or offhand comments. She might say relationships are all the same now, or that men do not show up the way they used to. What she is really saying is that the emotional imprint you left has not been replaced. Psychologically, this happens when closure never occurred at an emotional level. Even if there was a breakup conversation, the nervous system did not complete the process, so the bond remains open. She may not want you back, but she has not released the role you played in shaping her emotional expectations. Here is where it becomes uncomfortable. A woman who has not moved on may unconsciously sabotage new relationships, not intentionally, but emotionally. Because intimacy with someone new threatens to overwrite the unresolved bond with you, and the psyche resists losing what it never fully processed. Many men assume that if she is dating, she is done. That assumption is naive. Behavior is not emotion. Action is not attachment. A woman can move forward while still emotionally oriented backward. If she still asks questions that reference who you were, who you are becoming, or what you believe now, that is not curiosity. That is orientation. She is still calibrating her internal world around you. Do not confront this. Do not point it out. Awareness is power, not accusation. When you remain grounded, self-directed, and emotionally regulated, unresolved attachment has only two options: heal or surface. If she never moved on, she is not waiting for you to rescue her. She is waiting for herself to feel safe enough to let go of what once felt like home. And that safety is not created through pressure, nostalgia, or emotional chasing. It is created when you embody calm, direction, and self-respect. Because when a woman sees that you are no longer emotionally dependent on the past, she is forced to decide whether she will release it or confront what still lives there. This sign is quiet, persistent, and deeply human, and it tells you more than any message ever could. The fourth sign she never moved on is how she guards her emotions around you differently than around others. This is not softness, it is restraint. When a woman has unresolved feelings, she becomes unusually controlled in your presence. Not open, not expressive, careful. You may notice she measures her words, avoids certain topics, keeps conversations surface level, while simultaneously holding intense eye contact or sudden distance. This is emotional containment. She is managing what she feels so it does not spill out and expose what she is not ready to confront. When a woman is done, she does not regulate herself around you. She is relaxed, neutral, unaffected. There is no emotional discipline required. But when she has not moved on, she must actively suppress reactions. That suppression creates tension. And tension leaks. It leaks through pauses, through delayed replies that feel intentional, through sudden changes in tone, through warmth that appears and vanishes without explanation. This is not inconsistency. This is self-protection. Many men misread this as disinterest. They think silence means absence of feeling. In psychology, silence often means the opposite. It means emotion strong enough to require control. Another layer of this sign is jealousy, that never fully announces itself. She may not accuse you, she may not question you, but when you mention another woman, her energy shifts, her voice tightens, she disengages slightly. This is not ownership, it is unresolved attachment, colliding with pride. Here is the part most men miss. A woman who has not moved on is often fighting herself. She is not waiting for you to chase. She is trying to convince herself that what she feels no longer matters. That effort takes energy. and the more energy she spends containing emotion, the clearer the attachment still is. Do not test this. Do not provoke reactions. Emotional intelligence is not manipulation, it is restraint. When you remain steady, unreactive, and emotionally clean, containment becomes exhausting for her, and exhaustion brings clarity. She will either soften into honesty or harden into closure. Both are resolution. What keeps people stuck is emotional chaos, not calm. If she never moved on, your presence still carries weight, not because of what you say, but because of what she feels when she has to manage herself around you. That weight is not power to be used. It is information to be respected, because unresolved emotion, when mishandled, turns into resentment, and when handled with maturity, turns into truth. What matters now is not her feelings. It is your ability to remain centered, grounded, and emotionally whole, regardless of what still lives inside her. The fifth sign she never moved on is subtle, but it screams if you know how to listen. She still cares about your emotional state, your choices, and your reactions, sometimes more than she admits, sometimes more than she wants to admit. And this isn't casual concern. This is an undercurrent that tugs at her attention, even when she tells herself it's gone. You'll notice it in small, seemingly insignificant ways. A text that checks on your mood but comes out of nowhere. A social media interaction that seems accidental but is too precise. Or a comment on your life that appears harmless yet carries weight. These aren't coincidences. These are breadcrumbs of emotional attachment she hasn't fully released. Psychologically, what you're seeing is a dual reality. On the surface, she may be independent, moving on, dating, or building her life. But beneath, part of her nervous system remains wired to you. That part reacts to your presence, your success, your happiness, or even your setbacks. It's like a radio still tuned to a frequency she thinks she turned off. Many men mistake this for manipulation. They think she's plotting, playing games, or trying to test loyalty. That's a misunderstanding. She's often unaware of the signals she's sending. They come from unresolved emotion, not strategy. The difference is critical, because strategy is conscious, this is unconscious, and unconscious emotional pull can be far more powerful than intentional pursuit. You might feel confused by her behavior. One moment, warmth, the next, distance. She may appear indifferent, then suddenly nostalgic. This isn't inconsistency, it's a nervous system trying to reconcile attachment with her desire to move forward. That internal struggle leaks out as mixed signals. Recognizing this sign is transformative. When a woman has truly moved on, you become emotionally neutral in her world. She no longer monitors your life, consciously or subconsciously. But when she hasn't, your existence still matters, whether she admits it or not. And that matters to you too. Not because you need validation, but because it shows you the emotional reality you're dealing with. Here's the truth most men miss. This isn't about winning her back, nor is it about chasing her. It's about awareness. It's about seeing the signals without being pulled into them, understanding the emotional context without reacting impulsively, and maintaining your own life as your anchor. Because clarity is power, awareness is freedom. And when you master this, you no longer get caught in someone else's unfinished business. Her attachment, her nostalgia, her hidden concern, it's all visible when you know what to look for. And now you do. The sixth sign she never moved on shows itself in boundaries, or the lack of them. Not the obvious boundaries like who she lets into her life, but the invisible ones, the lines she doesn't clearly draw between your world and hers. When a woman has moved on, she sets emotional, mental, and physical boundaries effortlessly. She does not linger in conversations that pull her back to the past. She does not maintain access to parts of your life that once belonged exclusively to her. But when she hasn't moved on, boundaries blur. She may comment on your choices, suggest advice that feels personal, or make herself available at moments that are convenient to her subconscious attachment, not to you. And often, she will deny it. She'll say she's just being helpful, or that it's nothing, because if she admitted it, she would have to confront the emotions she's still holding on to. Watch for invisible lines being crossed. She may still remember the small details that only someone emotionally invested would notice. The way you like your coffee, your favorite routines, moments you shared that seem trivial to everyone else, she keeps them alive. And when she brings them up, even casually, it's a subtle claim on your emotional world. This is why many men feel a strange pull, even after years apart. She is still interacting with the version of you she remembers. And because you exist in the present, experiencing growth, success, and change, the tension is palpable. It creates an invisible tug of war, one you can't see but can feel deep in your nervous system. Here's the truth. When boundaries are blurred like this, it is not about her wanting to get back together. It's about her mind trying to make sense of unresolved attachment while convincing herself she's over it. She may be dating, busy, or even happy, but internally, part of her is still negotiating what she once had with you. The key for you is to recognize it without becoming enmeshed. Emotional clarity comes from observing without reacting, from respecting her unresolved space without giving her access to your present stability. When you do this, the blurred lines either sharpen, bringing honest closure, or fade entirely, revealing the truth of her emotional state. This sign is subtle, invisible, and psychologically profound. It's the quiet reminder that past connections do not vanish when relationships end. They linger in nuance, in attention, in silent monitoring, and noticing it gives you insight most men never have. The seventh sign she never moved on is in the way she triggers your emotions without realizing it. You know that feeling, the sudden irritation, doubt, or longing that appears out of nowhere after a seemingly innocent interaction with her. That is not coincidence. That is unresolved attachment, activating your nervous system, drawing old feelings to the surface, and testing your emotional stability. When a woman has fully moved on, her presence does not provoke this. You can see her, hear from her, even share space in social settings, and it feels neutral. But when she hasn't moved on, small things, her tone, a look, a smile, a casual comment, can pierce your calm in ways that feel disproportionate. And that is precisely because she still exists emotionally in your life, whether consciously or unconsciously. Many men misinterpret these triggers as manipulation, flirting, or hidden intent. They assume she is playing games, but often she doesn't realize she's doing it. Emotional systems operate below the surface, and unresolved attachment is one of the most powerful undercurrents in human behavior. You will notice patterns if you pay attention. A message at an odd hour that stirs curiosity or anxiety, a social media post that makes you overthink her intentions. Even mutual friends' casual updates about her can create sudden emotional tension. She doesn't plan this. Her unresolved emotions naturally ripple outward, creating subtle but undeniable effects on you. This is why emotional clarity is critical. You cannot control her attachment, but you can control your reaction. Most men get pulled in. They respond with hope, defensiveness, or curiosity, and that strengthens the cycle. But when you notice the trigger and remain grounded, you shift the power back to yourself. You choose how to respond, or whether to respond at all. Another aspect of this sign is projection. She may project your past mistakes, qualities she still feels for, or unresolved anger onto current situations. That projection can confuse you if you take it personally. It's not about you. It's about the emotional residue she hasn't processed. The deeper truth is this. Triggers reveal what she still carries inside, and your reaction reveals whether you are anchored in your present or drifting into her unfinished emotional world. Awareness gives you choice, grounding gives you freedom, and when you embody both, you navigate these interactions with clarity, authority, and calm. This sign is not obvious to most men, but if you see it, you see her truth, the part of her that still belongs in some way to your shared past. The eighth and final sign she never moved on is in how she keeps the what-if alive, silently, subtly, but persistently. This isn't about messages, social media, or overt attempts to reconnect. This is internalized longing that shows itself in the spaces between words, in glances that linger too long, in casual comments that seem meaningless but are loaded with unspoken emotion. She's still negotiating the story of you in her mind. When a woman has truly moved on, the past becomes neutral. You are a chapter, not a ghost. She does not replay scenarios, question her choices, or compare you unconsciously to others. But when she hasn't, the what-if operates like a quiet drumbeat in her nervous system. It surfaces when she's alone, when she's vulnerable, when your name or your presence drifts across her awareness unexpectedly. You will notice it in indirect ways. She may make jokes about past habits or shared moments. She may express interest in topics you once shared intimately. She may ask seemingly irrelevant questions that tap into your values, your routines, or your choices. These are not coincidences. They are subconscious attempts to reconnect with a part of herself that she hasn't fully released. The danger for men is misinterpreting this as opportunity. That is the trap. This is not about her wanting to come back. This is about emotional incompletion, her unresolved attachment colliding with the present. Many men fall into nostalgia, chasing old energy, believing the signs are invitations, when in reality, they are echoes of the past. Here's the key. Noticing this sign gives you the ultimate advantage, not over her, but over the situation. You gain awareness of the emotional reality you are navigating. You can choose to remain grounded, self-contained, and emotionally whole, or you can be pulled back into her unfinished story. The choice is yours. If she never moved on, you will feel it in tension, subtle curiosity, and emotional gravity. And your response determines the trajectory, clarity or confusion, peace or chaos. This is why understanding these 8 signs matters, not to control her, not to manipulate her, but to see clearly, act consciously, and maintain your own emotional sovereignty. Every man deserves clarity about who remains in his life and why. These signs are the map. Awareness is the compass, and self-mastery is the destination. When you internalize this truth, you no longer chase ghosts or get caught in emotional limbo. You stand firm, grounded, and unshakable, regardless of whether she has moved on or not. Because the reality is simple, unresolved attachment does not vanish quietly. But when you recognize it, you gain power over your own path and freedom from the pull of someone else's unfinished story.